At the height of the Cold War, one nation commanded more warships than the next 5 naval powers combined. Over 1,000 vessels patrolled every ocean on Earth. This steel armada represented the largest peacetime naval force ever assembled in human history. Within its ranks sailed everything from aging World War II destroyers to nuclear-powered leviathans, capable of unleashing apocalyptic firepower, all standing as the ultimate barrier between Soviet expansion and Western security. For 45 years, these ships would define superpower rivalry on the high seas and transform naval warfare forever. The inherited fleet of 1947 presented both opportunity and challenge. As World War II ended, the Navy possessed over 6,000 ships, but most faced immediate decommissioning. Essex-class carriers formed the backbone of early Cold War naval aviation. 24 warships, originally designed to fight Japan, now confronted Soviet submarine threats. Alongside them sailed Iowa-class battleships, their 16-inch guns seemingly obsolete, yet politically valuable as symbols of American strength. Fletcher and Gearing-class destroyers received radar upgrades and anti-submarine weaponry. Submarine forces retained their Gato and Balao-class boats, diesel-powered hunters now tracking an adversary whose naval capabilities remained largely unknown. The nuclear revolution changed everything. On January 17, 1955, USS Nautilus signaled underway on nuclear power, announcing an era when submarines could remain submerged indefinitely and carriers could steam for decades without refueling. Admiral Hyman Rickover's obsessive pursuit of nuclear propulsion created vessels unlike anything previously imagined. Nautilus demonstrated capabilities that rendered conventional submarines nearly obsolete: unlimited underwater endurance, higher submerged speeds, freedom from surface vulnerability during battery charging. USS Enterprise, commissioned in 1961, became the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. 8 reactors generated enough power to propel 93,000 tons of steel at over 30 knots, while supporting air operations for 25 years without refueling. If you are enjoying this Cold War naval history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss future military history content. Nuclear-powered cruisers followed, with Long Beach leading guided missile warships that combined atomic endurance with advanced radar systems. By 1965, the Navy operated 41 nuclear submarines, including the first ballistic missile boats carrying Polaris missiles. These platforms created an invulnerable second strike capability, ensuring that even a devastating Soviet first strike could not prevent American retaliation. Nuclear propulsion had become the foundation of strategic deterrence, fundamentally altering the balance of global power. The supercarrier era established American naval dominance as an unassailable fact. Beginning with USS Forrestal in 1955, these massive warships redefined power projection, carrying over 80 aircraft and displacing more than 80,000 tons fully loaded. 4 Forrestal-class carriers entered service between 1955 and 1959, followed by 4 improved Kitty Hawk-class vessels through 1968. Each carrier represented a mobile airfield, delivering more striking power than the entire air forces of many nations. Vietnam proved their worth. Yankee Station in the Gulf of Tonkin became a permanent fixture, where carriers launched thousands of sorties against North Vietnamese targets. USS Constellation, Ranger, and Coral Sea maintained relentless operational tempos. The carriers operated within protective battle groups. Cruisers, destroyers, and frigates formed defensive rings. This created floating fortresses that could appear anywhere, project power inland hundreds of miles, and withdraw beyond retaliation. By 1975, the Navy operated 15 attack carriers across the Mediterranean, Western Pacific, and Indian Ocean. The 600-ship Navy represented the Reagan administration's answer to Soviet naval expansion. Secretary John Lehman championed an ambitious buildup that achieved overwhelming maritime superiority. At the heart stood Ticonderoga-class cruisers, equipped with the revolutionary Aegis combat system. These warships could track over 100 targets simultaneously while engaging multiple threats. USS Ticonderoga was commissioned in 1983, followed by 26 sister ships that formed the most capable air defense platforms ever constructed. 4 Iowa-class battleships returned from mothballs, modernized with Tomahawk cruise missiles and Harpoon anti-ship weapons. New Jersey, Iowa, Missouri, and Wisconsin provided naval gunfire support, their 16-inch guns complementing modern precision weaponry. Nimitz-class carriers joined the fleet throughout the decade. These 100,000-ton giants carried 90 aircraft and could sustain combat operations indefinitely. Carl Vinson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln expanded carrier presence globally. Los Angeles-class attack submarines entered service at unprecedented rates. By 1987, the fleet peaked at 594 ships. American naval power had reached its Cold War zenith. Silent service supremacy defined the underwater dimension of Cold War naval competition. 2 distinct submarine forces emerged. Ballistic missile boats guaranteed nuclear retaliation, and attack submarines hunted Soviet vessels beneath the waves. The ballistic missile submarine fleet began with George Washington-class boats carrying 16 Polaris missiles. Ohio-class submarines later carried 24 Trident missiles, each with multiple independently targetable warheads. These platforms maintained continuous deterrent patrols, ensuring that several boats remained at sea, hidden and invulnerable to Soviet first strikes. Attack submarines evolved from diesel boats to nuclear-powered hunters. Skipjack-class vessels pioneered the teardrop hull design, achieving unprecedented underwater speeds. Sturgeon-class and Los Angeles-class submarines followed, equipped with advanced sonar systems and torpedo capabilities that consistently outmatched Soviet counterparts. These submarines conducted classified surveillance missions along Soviet coastlines, tapped undersea communication cables, and shadowed enemy vessels. Their operations remained secret for decades, yet their presence shaped Soviet naval strategy, forcing defensive postures that limited offensive capabilities throughout the Cold War. The supporting cast made global naval operations possible. Amphibious assault ships transported Marines to crisis zones, while oilers, ammunition ships, and supply vessels sustained battle groups thousands of miles from home ports. These unglamorous workhorses formed the logistical backbone, enabling American naval presence worldwide. Before we finish, smash that like button if you learned something new about Cold War naval power. Your support helps me create more detailed military history content like this. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, this Cold War fleet had achieved its ultimate mission. Victory without firing the shots that would have ended civilization itself. From the inherited World War II fleet to the 600-ship Navy of the Reagan era, American warships maintained global presence, deterred Soviet aggression, and ultimately prevailed in the longest naval standoff in history. Which ship or class impressed you most? Let me know in the comments.